Let's get you started with Desmos Geometry. So I'm here at desmos.com, always completely free. If you scroll down just a little bit, you've got all of their different calculators. We want the geometry calculator. So I'm going to click on this. We've got the expression list over here. It looks a lot like the Desmos graphing calculator. We've got our geometry tools here, and then we have our drawing area, grid area here. I like to turn the grid on, so I'm going to do that by going to our geometry settings by clicking the wrench in this upper right hand corner. So I'm going to go ahead and click the wrench, and I want my grid on. I also like my axes on. I'm going to leave everything else as is, and then let's just click off of it. This is a dynamic grid. So let's go ahead and get started. I'm going to just start by plotting a point. So I can select point right here. I can also click that down arrow, and I can see that I've got a point and a midpoint. I'm not ready for a midpoint yet. Let's go ahead and just plot a point. It's selected, so I can go ahead and just plot a point here anywhere. I can click my selection tool, which is this arrow. Also has a down arrow, so I can either select by clicking on something, or I can do a box select, which I'm going to show you here in a few minutes. We're just going to do regular select because I can just click on it. Once I do that, my geometry tools change, and I get this labeling tool here as well. Let's click that labeling tool, and it allows you to label it with a variable. You can also label it here with the coordinates. Now, one more thing that popped up here, well, three more things that popped up, but one of them that I want to show you for now is the three dots. It's a kebab, which means there are more options. So if I click that kebab, I can also move this over to my expression list. So now it's been labeled as 0.1, -5, 5. I can go ahead and easily over here turn my label on and off or change it. And you'll notice that I also now have in my geometry history, I can go ahead and click this, and I've got that 0.1 there designated. So I've got a token. They call that a token there for 0.1. Let's go ahead and do a line as well. So I want to back arrow here because I want to go back to the original geometry tools. And I'm going to do a line segment. But if you do the down arrow, you've got lots of options. We're just going to do a line segment though. And as I'm hovering here, if I kind of hover near a grid crossing, I don't know if that's what you'd call it, but if I hover there, it'll kind of snap to one of those places. I'm going to do that. So I've got kind of a nice line here. Okay, so I've got my line here. I can label it. Notice how it is shown up now in that geometry history. So I've got some nice things there. I want to find the length of this though. Let's go ahead and add this to our expression list. I've got my selection tool selected. You can see that it's a little bit lighter than everything else. So it's ready for me to go ahead and click on this line. I want to add this to my expression list as well. So I'm going to click on those three dots and then move it to the expression list. So now I've got this L1 designated as my line segment. I want to find the length of that. To find the length of that, I'm going to go over here to my expression list, and I know that the function is just called length, Length, parentheses L1. I'm going to do L, I'm just going to type 1. It will automatically subscript it for me, L1. And I've got the length there. Now, if you didn't know that length was a function, or if you wanted to know what other functions there were available to use in your expression list, go ahead and click on the keypad. I'm going to expand it. So I'm going to click the arrow to show the keypad. I'm going to go over here to functions, and we want to scroll down to our geometry tools. So scrolling down to our geometry tools, here they are. So I've got geometry tools and also measurement tools. I used one of those measurements, which was length. Okay, so I'm going to actually just get out of here for a minute. Now I can collapse this history list as well. So I can either expand it or collapse it. I can also bring any of my tokens into my list here. So I can bring P2 there into my list. If I don't want it in my list anymore, I'm going to go ahead and grab it. I'm hovering here in that gray column, and I'm going to grab it and just pop it back up into my token list. Okay, so we've got a point, we've got a line. Let's do a triangle next. So I'm going to click on my polygon tool. When I'm clicking on that polygon tool, notice how it is kind of highlighted there. I can go ahead and draw in a triangle. So just one, clicking wherever I want those vertices to go, 1, 2, 3, and then back. I can also add it to my expression list if I wanted, and I think I do want to do that. Let's go ahead and click on this, add it to our expression list. So move to our expression list. So it's designated that polygon, and I've got my 3 points here. But let's say that we want to label those points. Just like we had done before, I want to make sure that I've got my select tool highlighted, and I do. I'm going to click on a single point, and then I'm going to use my label tool. Clicking on my label tool, it automatically assumes that I want to label it A, which is great. Or you could label it with the coordinates. I'm going to do A because I want to show you. If I go to the next vertex, clicking on that using my label tool, it assumes that I want B, which is very nice. And then I do go to the next one, label tool, and then it says C, which is great. Now you may have also noticed that along with that label tool, there was also a color selector. So again, I've got my selection tool highlighted. I'm going to choose that triangle, and then I'm going to click on my color selection tool, and I'm going to choose one of my colors. Let's go ahead and choose orange. You can do the same thing with your points. You can do the same thing with that line segment. Okay, but we're here. Let's find an area. So I want to find the area of my triangle, which, since I've got it in my expression list here, has been labeled as polygon 1, so P1. I'm going to start by putting my cursor in an empty cell. So I'm going to put my cursor right here. I'm in cell number 5 there. Let's go ahead and expand the keypad. And over here to functions, I'm going to look for geometry and measurement tools. There they are. There's geometry. Properties and measurements, I want to find the area. So I'm going to choose area, and it's a capital P subscript 1, so I just type 1, and it gives me the area there of 18. Now we haven't done a midpoint. I'm going to find the midpoint of the bottom edge of my triangle. But before I do that, I want to show you how everything here is dynamic. I'm going to take point A and I'm going to add it to my expression list so that you can see what happens. I'm going to put it down at the bottom next to my area. Okay, so point A, you see this little crossing arrows? This means that it is draggable. If I click and hold on that, I can change it to be no longer draggable, but I do want this to be draggable. And draggable means that it's completely dynamic. I can click on point A and I can move it. Watch as I move this around. Not only is it changing the coordinates of A, but it's also changing the area of that triangle, which is super cool. Okay, let's find a midpoint. I want to find the midpoint of edge AC. Do you remember where that midpoint tool was? The midpoint is in my points. So I'm going to click the down arrow by my points and choose midpoint. And I'm just going to drop it right on this line here. You'll notice that it just drops it right where the midpoint needs to go. But it would be really nice to know the coordinates of that midpoint. Okay, so you maybe are already ahead of me. There's a couple of ways that you can do that. You can label it, going to my selection tool, clicking on that, and then labeling it. I can label it with its coordinates. I can also move it into my expression list. I'm going to click on an empty cell, and then selection tool is selected, and then I'm going to click on that point, click the 3 dots, and then I'm going to move it to my expression list. And you can see now that we've got those coordinates. Now, if I move point A, remember point A is draggable, it also changes the coordinates of that midpoint. Point C, same thing for that midpoint. I'm going to get rid of the midpoint because I want to work with this triangle a little bit more. One of the other measurements that we can do are the angle measurements. Now, this is nice to check what your graph settings are. I really want to be in degrees here. If you're working in radians, where 2 pi is the full rotation around the unit circle, then you would do radians. But I really want degrees here. I'm going to choose my angle tool. If you do the down arrow, it gives you some options here, but I'm going to choose that angle tool. And then notice how if I just hover on that triangle, it starts to label each of those angles. If I click on it, it gives me all of those angles now. If I want to move point A around and see how the angle measures are also dynamic, I need to click that selection tool again. Now I can go ahead and drag this like that. Let's put these angles into our expression list. I'm clicking an angle and I'm going to go ahead and add it there to my expression list. And I can see that I've got A1. I'm going to do another one here. A2, angle 2, and then angle 3, and then angle 3. And then we can verify that the sum of these angles is equal to 180 degrees. So I'm going to go A1 plus A2 plus a 3, and I do get 180. If I go back to my select tool, I'm already there. I can move this around and I can see how it does not change the sum of those angles. Let's hide some of our objects. If I wanted to hide this triangle, I would want to select it, and I've got my selection tool here, so I'm going to select that triangle, and then it brings up the hide option, so I can go ahead and hide it here. But notice how it left the angles and the points. If I undo, so undo is over here at the top of my expression list. If I undo, what I really wanted to do is not just to select the triangle, but I wanted to select all of the properties that we had labeled, like those angle measures. So I'm going to use my back arrow up here in my geometry tools, and I'm going to, instead of the regular select, this is where you want to do a box select. Okay, so I'm going to put it so I'm outside of everything, clicking, holding, and dragging. Notice how over here in my expression list, it has selected those, it's highlighted them in blue. Now I'm going to go ahead and hide, and it hides all of them. If I wanted to put anything back up, I can go over here and just click on one of them at a time. Okay, I'm going to leave them hidden. The other thing that you can do, of course, is to get rid of everything in your expression list. We're going to do that because I've got a lot of different things going on here. Let's go ahead and clear our expression list. To do that, I'm going to click on the gear to edit my list, and I'm going to delete all, and this truly does just delete everything. The last thing that I want to do is a construction of an equilateral triangle, and this is going to allow us to use the circle tool, which we have not used yet. I like to have my grid on, so I'm going to turn that grid right back on. So grid on, axes on, everything else is great. Let's go ahead and plot a circle. When we're plotting a circle, that circle is defined by the center point and the radius, so the distance to a point on the circle. So as I click that circle tool, it wants me to start by clicking on the center, and then I'm just going to go ahead and move out and choose what my radius is. Once I click somewhere, that gives me the circle. But what I really want to do is some labeling here. So back to my selection tool, I want to label this as my center. So I'm going to label this C. And I'm just going to label this as a point on my circle. So I'm going to label this one P. So back to my selection tool, clicking on that, I'm going to label this one as point P. Okay, now in order to come up with an equilateral triangle, we're going to start with one edge, and one edge is going to be this radius that goes between the center and P. So I'm going to use my segment tool, clicking the down arrow, clicking on line segment. I'm going to go from C to P. Okay, so now let's do the next one. I'm going to construct a second circle, but this time I'm going to have P, that point, be my new center. So let's go ahead and do a second circle, and I'm going to have P be my center, and now I'm going to go in the opposite direction right here. So I'm going to go ahead and click here. Now it's really tough to tell the difference between these two. I'm going to go ahead and change the color though. Let's select it, clicking the selection tool, clicking on that circle, I'm going to change that color to blue. So I've got my line segment. I actually want to make it red so it stands out, or orange. I'm going to click it, change the color, change that one to orange. To make an equilateral triangle, all three sides of that triangle have to have the same length. Right now I've got one length, which is the radius of the circle. Now these two circles have the same radius, right? We can see it right here. But I can also see a radius that goes from the center point P of the blue circle out to any of the points on the circle, including this point here. Let's drop in that intersection point, choosing a point right here. Okay, so I've got that intersection point. Let's drop a line segment in. So using my line tool, clicking to choose segment, I'm going to go from P, this is a radius now, going to a point on the circle. So there's another radius. Let's make that orange. Selection tool, clicking on that line segment, we're going to change this one to orange. And then I need one more radius to make sure that the third side is also equivalent. And that's exactly what I've got. Let's go ahead and back arrow here. I want the line segment from C to that same point there. So I'm going to use my line segment tool, from C to that point there. Let's make it orange. And then orange. So I've got my equilateral triangle. I no longer need those circles. Let's hide them. I'm going to choose that first circle and then hide. I'm going to choose the second circle and then hide. Now, if you wanted to get back to those circles, they still live in your objects. So if you click on this object history over here, you can still get to those circles. There's the blue one, there's the green one. So those still live there. Now, there's so much more that you can do. I also have a video showing you how to do those transformations, and it's right here.